Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the SDC. EH10 is what this is. This is a 24120A. This is an electromagnetic door holder is what it is. It's not a lock, it's a holder. This is the EH10 24120. We're going to talk about that. This is what would be called a flush or recess mount style. This is going to install basically into a a single gang box. This is going to be basically completely flush with the wall. There are different types: surface mount, semi sort of mortise, I suppose, or recess, and then flush with the wall like this style would be. This is going to include, of course, the door armature. This is the component that will go on the door. This is obviously on the wall. There you go. That's how that's going to work. We're doing a visual tour. Let's do a dimensional tour as well. I think that faceplate is probably zinc. Yeah, it's not magnetic, so my guess is zinc. Overall height of the faceplate, about 4 3/4. Overall width, just shy on 3 inch. You're going to have your coil on the back here. You're going to have instructions as to how to wire that depending on the voltage that you're running, and we're going to go over that in a moment. Your door armature plate, the base diameter is about 2 1/4. Its total projection is about 2 1/4 as well. Extensions are available for these items. That threads off. You can add extensions to this. You can add elbow extensions as well. They're not uncommon to need extensions. So I give that 2 1/4 dimension so that you can better determine what you might need. This will also move on a ball joint as well. You can move that, okay, to accommodate the requirements of the degree that's being held open at. This little gizmo is the through bolt plate for that, because you're generating lots of pounds of force, so you're going to through bolt this through the door. That's what that's for. After that, you're going to get a couple of paper templates. It's going to help you position the material exactly where it needs to be on the door, and alignment template. Let's take a look. Yeah, so you're going to be able to place or position your material and then mark where your holes are going to be for all of this. And we'll go over what these are for when we hit to the installation instructions. There will be a package of fasteners as well, wood screws, machine screws, and then the 2 small machine screws for attaching the unit to the single gang box. And then, of course, installation instructions are included. I can tell you that this is a very typical, very common sort of piece of hardware. This is a generic design. SDC doesn't manufacture this item. They're buying it from someone else, no doubt. And that's, of course, perfectly normal. Major manufacturers of hardware don't make, I've got a job on my desk. Someone bought a belt for a key machine. The manufacturer of the key machine doesn't make belts. They buy that belt from someone. Same thing with this unit from SDC. The name SDC is quite synonymous with electrified hardware. For me, in my experience, they're more synonymous with exceptional technical support. I've called them countless times, and every time I get a perfect answer from them. There was only one time they couldn't oblige a question that I had for them, because they didn't have the data available to them is the reason why. So let's switch to the screen view. Let's take a look at all the supporting documentation. Let's talk about how to install this and what you might be using it for. Actually, we'll talk about that right now. You're going to see electromagnetic door holders in hospitals. Those doors are held open all the time because of the amount of volume of traffic that's coming through those openings. But in the event of a fire, those doors need to close. So the circuit that powers this can be opened by the fire alarm system. Power is cut, the doors are released, the hydraulic control over the doors will, or whatever the closing hardware is on the door, will then take over and close the door as soon as that circuit is opened and that electrical field is eliminated. That will then close. Occasionally, you have someone in a residential application that wants this, and that is the case with this client. this client, he just wants an electromagnetic door holder on this door. There is no actual purpose to have it. He just wants it held open with electricity. There is no closing device on the door. The concept is, I think he might add self-closing hinges so that he can hit a button and have the door close automatically. Another time I had a client order this, it was because their dog would go in the room and push the door closed, and then the very intelligent dog, of course, couldn't figure out how to get the door open at that point. They were good at closing it, less good at opening it, so they wired this in such a way that they had the maximum holding power, and we'll go over that. And the dog could no longer push the door off of this and get it closed. So, yeah, you know, it'll certainly do the job. The power's on. You just push the plate up against, the armature up against the plate itself, and bam, it's going to hold open until you tug it off or you cut the electricity. So now let's switch to the screen view and take a look at the supporting information. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Okay, here's the item that we're looking at. Let's take a look at some photographs that we have posted. There's the label on the box. That A in the part number, I believe that's going to mean the finish. We'll look. I don't recall. We'll look. When you open the box, that's what you're presented with. Contents of the box. Face view. The back side showing the coil. Another set of images here to review. Here's the business end of the unit. Common high and low wires. Depending on how you wire this, you're going to affect your holding force, and then of course the voltage at which you're going to be powering it with. I really don't understand why they might be running AC on here. Don't understand that. This obviously shows the milliamps that you're running. So that will tell you your draw. You can see there's very little power that this uses when it runs. But AC doesn't make sense. AC is going to buzz. We'll get to the instructions and we'll see if we can realize that answer. There's the armature. The backside just showing you what that looks like. Retaining ring inside of here. Obviously that's part of the installation. Holding something in place. The bracket to through bolt the armature, the back side of it, your screws, your templates, and your installation instructions. Okay, now let's click on the link below to the cut sheet. Let's go over it. So we're dealing with an EH10. That's going to tell us about the application. This is obviously surface mount, but it's not flush. The EH series door holders are designed to hold doors open and release the door by a remote switch or fire, life safety command, center activation. Primary applications include holding and releasing of fire-rated doors that are that are required to provide a barrier for fire and smoke in an emergency, or the convenience of door closer by remote control. So the second half of that is you want just a slick way to close the door when it's held open. There you go. Field selectable high holding force. So that's where, when it was wired for my client with the 80-pound dog, he wired it for the high holding force. For self-closing and fire and smoke barrier doors, door released and closed upon loss of power, or your alarm panel, something opening the circuit, whatever that switch is, a fire panel, an ionization detector, a mechanical switch, not for fire-rated applications. Choice of 25, 30, 35, 40 pound holding force, very low power consumption. We just talked about that. High holding force standard reduces stock or need to special order high holding force versions. The choice of 3 dual voltages. And this is where the high holding force comes into play. 12 volts, 30 pounds, 24 volts, 30 pounds. Apply 24 volt to 12 volt input for 75 pound holding force. Apply 120 volt to 24 volt input for 110. 220 volt high holding force not available. Screw terminal block input connections, no wire nuts or pigtails needed. Innovative installation. Yeah, it has these templates, so the alignment is easy. Self-aligning catch and adjustable magnet center line. Ball pivot assembly enables full plate contact and holding force to achieve a full holding force. Optional adjustable rod compensate for extreme misalignment up to 4-inch. That's the extension that we're talking about. Slotted mounting holes enable adjustment of magnetic center line. Slotted mounting holes. Yeah, I don't see that at all. I know what they're referring to. They're referring to the ability to adjust this slightly, but I don't see this unit having it. Now, we're doing the EH10. That's pretty clear what we're talking about. That's the EH10. You want a semi-flush version, pretty common as well, the EH20. Then you can get into a surface mount unit, and then a single mount for a door, a single mount for a single door. Then you've got this EH42 floor mount for double. They don't put the part number here, EH42. That would be appropriate in an application. You might say, well, where would I use that back to back? Here's where you would use it. So these doors, this is a pair of doors here. That door is going to swing here, EH40. That door is going to swing here, EH40. That's going to swing here. That's going to swing here. That's where your EH42 would go. You don't see them often, but they do exist, that's for sure. They talk about the voltage that you're running. Standard dual voltage AC or DC inputs. So obviously there's no audible buzz in an AC circuit on these. They give you the dimensions that we've gone over. The milliamp voltage that you'll be using, the holding force that you'll achieve. Now we're doing a 24120 model. So therefore, you're going to be able to power line voltage to it. I don't know if the client's running low voltage or line voltage. It doesn't matter because he has the option. 110 pounds to pull that off, that's a lot of holding force. I might think he's going to wire it low voltage. A reasonable amount of holding force. Here are the extensions that I mentioned. And you're going to want to study this before you buy it because you might need to add extensions, and you'll want to order it now when you've got the unit on order so that you don't have to, in the hardware industry, we've seen lots of creative ways. When I sit in hardware class 1 or 2 times a year, there's always a gallery of gaffes that the instructors have of, fixed it Friday sort of pictures. We've seen this material held together with zip ties, chains, things of that nature, just stuff that's not approved. So you've got, ½ inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 2, 3, 4, 5 inch straights, an elbow 1.5 inches, and an elbow 4 inch. And you can stack those all together, and that would be a code compliant way to get your extensions. Straights, elbows, A for the chrome finish, B for the black powder coat finish. Misalignment communication here to you. Now, let's dive into the installation instructions. Okay, so the bottom line is, how do I wire it? Well, here's how you wire it. You've got common, low voltage, and high voltage. So we're doing a 24120 model. We can wire it here for 110 pounds of force, or we can wire it here or here. So the first question is, how many pounds of force do you want to achieve? Well, actually, let's back up. The first question is, what voltage are you applying to it? If it's 24 volts, then here you go. You're going to go to the C&L terminal. The C&L terminal with your 24 volts, you're going to achieve 40 pounds of holding force. If you're running line voltage to it, then you have a choice. 35 pounds or 110 pounds of holding force. You'll either go to the C&L, the CNH, or the CNL. So where you put your two wires to power this is what the voltage that you apply, and where you position the white and black wire is how you're going to achieve your holding power, or your red and black, Obviously, white and black if it's 120 volts. Red and black most likely if it's low voltage. So it's just a matter of attaching the wires, as we had shown right here. Common, low voltage, high voltage. Well, line voltage. Just that's going to be low voltage, 24 volts. I think low voltage is classified as 60 volts and less, or 50 volts. We never get really beyond 24 volts, but you could also power it with line voltage. The physical installation is probably going to be something you won't have to deal with, in the sense that you need a standard mount, a box to mount this to. One dimension I didn't give you is how deep it was. From the back of the plate to the back of the assembly is inch and 13/16. You can count on that. Then it's just a matter of where the material gets attached. And that really starts here with step one. You're going to install the business end. You're going to energize it. With door magnets securely fastened, aligned, and energized, proceed with swivel base assembly. You're basically going to attach the armature to the face of the magnet and hold it there. With catch plate, they call it the catch plate, I'm calling it the armature. Assembly attached magnetically to door magnet, peel the adhesive backing off mounting template and slide over catch plate. Peel adhesive backing off mounting template and slide over catch plate, making sure adhesive side faces the door. Now, let's move forward. It'll become obvious. You want to make sure that everything is sealed correctly, adjusted correctly, nothing at an angle, swiveled if necessary. So, with catch plate magnetically to the door magnet, peel the adhesive backing off mounting template. And slide over the catch plate, making sure the adhesive faces the door side. And what that is, the mounting template is this. That's the mounting template. It says mounting template. Gently close the door, and with one hand adjust base of catch plate to lie flat against the door. Sorry, we're beyond there. Slide mounting template over catch plate to door surface and apply pressure to the template in a few spots. Now the template's sticking to the back of the door. You've slid it over the end of the catch of the armature, the base, and you've used this alignment to get that stuck to the door. Now you know exactly where your alignment template has to go. That's now on the door. Insert alignment template into the center of the mounting template. They nest together. At that point, you now have the location of where you're going to drill everything. I would be mindful to get that installed, the alignment template, so that the holes were in the proper 12 and 6 and 9 and 3 positions. Then you're going to mark, you're going to drill your holes. There is a fixture that is available for doing this as well. I've never sold one. If I was doing a lot of these, I would definitely want a drill fixture. Then at that point, you'll be able to install the through bolt reinforcing plate, because you've got these holes, whether it'll be vertical or horizontal. And then you attach it. You screw the armature to the door through with the holes that you've drilled. Obviously, it needs to go through the door. So that's the installation. Just a little two-step guy. You sneak the mounting template underneath the base. You know, you push the template onto the door, you secure it there, then put the alignment template down into the center of the mounting template. Then from there, you're going to drill the door, and then you'll peel those templates off, obviously, when you're done. Now, there's a link below this video as seen here to the manufacturer's page. When we click on that, we can pull up not only all of the SDC products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation as seen here, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. I must admit, I use their website as the primary means to look at their material, as I'm just most familiar with the website. And while the site changes every once in a while, products, I just click on products. One area that I go to all the time is electric bolt locks. I sell these all the time, it seems, and I'm always looking at this material. So I realize what series I need over here. If I'm doing the, last time I did one, it was the 1290 ADMR. Okay, here it is. The layout of the website is the same. You've got your data sheet, you've got your installation instruction. It's all there. So I go to their website all the time, just because I'm used to doing it, and it's reasonably well laid out, that's for sure. They have a comprehensive offering of electrified hardware and, as I had said earlier, exceptional technical support. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. So I felt as if I was a bit flaky on that installation. That's installed in the wall and powered. That you snap on. Slide this sucker over with the adhesive away from the face of the magnet. Close your door, work that over, attach it to that. Take all of this away. Now this is now stuck to the door. You then take your alignment template, it centers right in there, peel away the adhesive tape, then you can mark your holes. You only need 2 of the 4, and that's how that works. Okay. I wholly endorse SDC. And, you know, I think when it comes to the pinnacle of those that are skilled within the door and hardware industry, you've got people that understand applications and know what hardware to use. You've got people that can write part numbers correctly. You've got people then that can write specifications for that material and hardware sets and detail it correctly. You've got people that can be an architectural hardware consultant because they've studied and passed the test. But low voltage hardware or electrical hardware is probably the pinnacle of expertise within the industry. If you're working in that area exclusively, you're probably a pretty, well, relatively rare person, very desirable candidate to work for any company. And you can probably troubleshoot anything mechanical if you can troubleshoot electrified hardware. And as a result of my experience with SDC and how exceptional their tech support people are, I've come to the conclusion that I just prefer them because I can pick them up. They've got great bedside manner, so to speak, and they'll be able to answer your questions. Any questions on the EH10 or any other SDC product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.